You good?
All set.
All righty, good evening, everyone. Starting a little late, sorry. Like to call the 150th Anniversary Steering Committee regular meeting for Thursday, November 3rd. And for the purposes of attendance,
I can do the attendance.
okay, I didn't know if you were on or on your phone, or you told me maybe you were gonna be on your phone.
I
Yeah.
am, yeah, but I can do it.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Robert Blank.
I think he's here, but
He's
Okay.
here.
he's here, but I think he's at NCTV. Can't
Okay,
tell.
Walter Bordeaux.
Here.
Okay,
Kathy
Yeah.
I
Clark.
found this on the web for he's here, but I think he's an anti-TV, so he can't talk.
Oh
Check
my
it out.
God, what the hell is that?
That was you, Eileen.
How do I turn that off and what is it? I
Got a
never-
web browser open or something?
I got nothing open, man. Huh, okay, whatever.
All right, Melanie DePamphlis. Joe Dubin,
Here.
Michael Fox,
Here.
Eileen Francolino,
Here,
Anna Kubish,
Here.
Geraldine Nagel, Allison Mankey,
here.
Nancy Mankey,
Here.
Mac Turgeon. Okay,
All righty. We have minutes for the last meeting that need to be approved.
Move to approve.
I put those ones up. I don't think I have the Octobers yet. I thought I had them,
Don't
but
think so
you
either.
do have approvals needed for the August and September meetings, I believe. That's-
Okay. So can somebody make a motion to approve the August and September meeting minutes, please?
So moved. Fox.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Could somebody say aye? Good. There we go.
Aye.
We're good. All righty. Beautiful. Okay, moving on.
Nobody.
Nobody, public participation. Beautiful. Moving on. We don't have any remarks by Committee on Public Participation. We're good. Moving on. This is going to be quick. Correspondence, I don't think we have any. I didn't get any anyway. We're good. Okay, so we're looking for right now presentation of ideas for the remaining funds in our treasury. Last meeting, we talked about getting a remnant or whatever you want to call it, a seedling, a sapling of the charter oak tree. Some of the guys from the grounds crew did a little investigating for us, and it's going to be roughly about $1,000 for a 7-foot tree, more or less. I think we have to wait a little bit to plant it. Right now, I don't know that it's, depends on the weather, but I would guess probably springtime. Roughly $1,000. That's where that one came in. We also talked about getting glow necklaces. I think that we could do that for about $350. And another thing I checked out was a long time ago, we had talked about maybe the possibility of getting some solar or battery lights to increase the number of lights on the trees in the center. There's an area that's along the street between the parking lot and the street on Main Street, that there's a bunch of trees in there that don't have any lights on them because there's no electricity out there. So the cost of doing solar lights, maybe some of those ornaments, things that they have on them would be about $2,500, just a suggestion. The cemetery, we can just do with whatever's left, and benches, Mel was gonna check into that. I wish Bill was here. I was looking at the benches over by the waterfall, and those are kind of sad. It's a possibility that, and there's cement to the base of them, concrete, whatever. I don't know the difference. That maybe just the seating part could be replaced rather than the whole structure itself. I don't know how that works, but they're kind of ratty looking and you can't even sit on them halfway. The ones that are not right up against the waterfall, but on the path walking down, you can see them when you drive by. And James, you want to tell us a little bit about the kiosk?
I'll even show it to you.
Okay.
Don't you something?
All right. That is not the one that I wanted. That's the one I want. All right. So advanced kiosk is the one that I've spoken with so far. You saw the kiosk basic view version of it last time, which was just a standard kiosk, touchscreen styling, receipt printers availability, keypad for entering data. This is a very basic version of it. We would be looking at one that would be a handicap accessible version of it. So we'd be looking at an IP phone address on it, be able to contact offices. The unit itself has the need for what they call their office extension. It allows for each department to add pieces in, new services they may have come out. So you can actually change and update the buttons, the backgrounds, web links. Good example is the tax collector's office. They take town taxes online only. They can't take them in office because of the state law, but we can have a link directly on our tablet. They touch it, it goes to our web page. They're able to process that, scan their credit card through at the terminal, receive a receipt, and they're done. A lot of times people don't want to use their computer at home. They may feel more comfortable doing it here, or they walk up to the window and they say, well, I want to pay my taxes, but here's my credit card. And they can't do it. So that's one of those things. We can add in a button that would bring them through and be able to search historical information. We want to look at previous mayors, we want to look at previous counselors, services on boards, be able to research all of that extra information that we wouldn't normally have accessible. Those are things that we can add on as windows on that panel. So as you can see there, he's looking at the basic view. Let's see. So this would be more of what we would be looking at, this style. You'd have the scanner to the side of it, you'd have a printer for it, you'd have your keypad, you'd have your touch screen, you'd have your phone to be able to contact. There'd be a direct phone link. You'll notice it on the bottom left corner there. Click on that. We set the department head phones directly onto that. So they select which one they want to speak to, goes right into that office. You don't have to be looking for numbers or having them grab a cell phone. They just pick it up and talk to them. Fully ADA compliant. We can have it monogrammed any way we want. You can have the background screen changed to anything we want. Maybe we want to have the 150th logo attached to that permanently. That's a possibility. So overall, these are the basic layouts that they have. Anything can be changed. All the buttons can be adjusted. Colors can be adjusted. So you can say, oh, I want to do, I want to do a time clock on it. So every person who walks in is going to scan their badge when they come into the building. Any of these things could happen. It has a lot of opportunity. For right now, we're looking at the basic services. So it could have the registrar of voters on it, linking directly to the Secretary of State's website. They're not in the office all the time, but somebody can walk over to it, handle their registration. It goes to the registrars the next morning. They send the information out there registered. They need to, maybe they want to apply for a permit for the building department, for the planning office, for an application. Any of those things are a possibility. Could be a police ticket that they have to pay. All of those are options under the system. So everything's updatable directly from a desktop. Could be managed by each department, could be managed by the IT department. We'd have to work that out with our IT department, especially for security reasons. And then all of their software is a built-in. So we can link in what we need to with it. We can say which kiosk we're at. We could have multiple ones, see what's going on. We can actually run reporting off of the same kiosk information and say, well, how many people are using that kiosk a day, a week, a month? So we know, is it actually beneficial to us to have it there? The system itself has a 3-year warranty on it, but it does have a continuing support for it. So that there's an email, a call, something's broken, they come out in that 3-year period, and then the additional support and software assurance that we'd have as part of the agreement. And that would be covered under our IT department. This is the weekly report that I was talking about. So number of sessions that are averaging out per day, how long they're on that session. Are you seeing an increase in uses or a decrease in use? These are all things that we can use to justify possibly adding additional services to it or additional kiosks throughout the town. Maybe there's one in the police department that we look at later. Maybe there's one down at Parks and Rec for people to sign up for programs. These are all things that we can think about as we go forward and see how it works. The most important part you want to see is what's it cost. So initial kiosk with all the bells and whistles is about $6,000. In addition to that, you've got the scanner, you've got the hardware for the voice over IP telephone, and then you've got some sort of a facade for it. So in this case, it's a laminate graphic. So you've got those fees. And I will send this out to everybody so you guys can look through it at your leisure. And this is government pricing. So this is actually lower than what I spoke to the project manager on. Originally, he was quoting 14 to 16,000, but under government pricing, we're down to just about 12, a little over 12, which is a good thing. So that Zamox software, that's a yearly fee that we would be looking at on the town side, which is $18.49. It breaks down into a monthly fee. And then when we add on additional kiosks, that reduces down to, I believe, it's a $28 a month versus a $96 a month or something to that effect. And then the other one that we have that we'd have to make up each time is the full support contract. That's a yearly one as well. And then that totals out to a total of $12,844. As they indicated, we can remove pieces, add pieces as we feel is necessary. So maybe we don't want the scanner out there right now. It's a benefit for the registrars specifically because they could have an ID of the individual when they're registering. That would come to them through the system. So if somebody says, I want to register, you can actually tell it, do you want to include your photo ID? That'll allow the registrar to make sure that they've seen it and they mark them for federal voting. So there's additional pieces that will assist throughout the whole process. Now, there's also a case study that was done in Pittsburgh, California, and they give a nice little overview of what they did, how it assisted them. Nice thing for us is we actually have Laserfiche in the town, so we can utilize that to benefit this software and pull it in. Could be could be permitting. Any of those things could get directed to the department that it needs to be at, and we could save a lot of paper processing in that same aspect. And that's pretty much a high level view on it. But I'll send out all the pieces to you guys. It's about 10 meg, but I'll give it to you as a download. You won't have it in your email blowing that up. So you guys can take a look at it, see what's there, see what if it makes sense, you want to go forward with it. I think one way or another, the town will probably go forward with it. So this is the change screen, how you want to set up your buttons, where your logo, whatever you want to do with it. You can add in a survey afterward to see if people like the software, like the use of it, or if they don't like it, they'll tell you. And then just, we can link all of our buttons to, like I said, to website locations, to vendors that we utilize. I could utilize it on my Vital side. We have a Vital vendor that could go right to their site, pay for things there, walk over to our counter, pick up their services. So it has a benefit through all the main service corridor offices, but it has an additional benefit as you look to the other departments. You tell me what you think about it.
I have a question about payment.
Yes,
Right now, you can only pay your bills with cash or check, correct?
to your taxes, correct.
Okay, so if people start paying on there, is there a service charge?
That's the same service charge that goes through the current vendor we utilize. So it's literally this kiosk would bring it to a link directly on our website that they automatically would go to if they did it at home.
I see.
The
So-
difference would be they don't have to enter in all their card information. They can simply use the card swipe reader and swipe
Got
the card.
Okay, and so nobody's, it's not costing the town any more money. Well, like your office doesn't take anything other than cash, correct?
We do cash or checks right now, but I do have some online services where they can use their debit or credit cards. So this would have that added benefit of allowing them to do that.
They would be able to pay more of their things.
Correct. It could expand out to our dog licensing as well.
So that would come with a service charge of how much?
It It will depend. Like on my side of it for the vitals, that's actually paid through my vendor. It's, I believe, a $4 processing fee through them. And I have a additional little one, but they handle all of that on that side, and the publics utilize it quite often.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else have questions?
Have you spoken to other departments about this? Like, are they on board with it? That's one of my questions. The other is, future costs and maintenance. Is the town willing to take that on? And what if somebody's standing there using it and they have problems? Who do they go to for help?
Well, in that aspect, we'd utilize that phone call to the IT department because they're local. They'd be able to come down and assist with it. And the offices themselves could assist with that as well. We have had a general discussion with some of the departments on it. Nothing expansive, what type of services would you like to see on it? Those type of things. We've talked about these going in since COVID really. And even a little bit before it when we were moving into the building. The continuing costs on it, like I was showing, those are annual service fees, nothing different than when we subscribed for Microsoft software and their software assurance. Any of our vendor hardwares, we're going to have supports for those as well. As we add additional ones, that cost decreases. I should say it increases the cost of it, but it decreases the amount that you pay to each one. So like I said, I think, let me see if they had that in here. That was in, I believe that was in this. So let's see here. That was service. And let's see, that's a magnetic strip. And
no one has any objections to this piece of machinery sitting in a hallway somewhere?
well, it
Yeah.
would be in the main corridor here. So it would be adjacent to the collector of revenue, the assessors, the register of voters, and myself.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I know since the new building, they've put restrictions on like pictures being hung or this or that, whatever.
yeah, now it's something we have discussed going forward. The biggest issues I think that we're going to see is one, we still have to look for technology and electrical for it. That's something that is severely lacking in that corridor. We have one plug in that corridor. So that is something that we've planned for in funding from the ARPA funds for it. But that's something that we'll have to change. I know I saw it somewhere here and I can't find it. That's the thing that's annoying me.
Okay.
Isn't that the 1188?
Say that again? No, there's a sheet that they supplied on it that broke down and said, if you have one kiosk, it's this amount. If you add additional kiosks, it's this amount. And I thought it was in the quote, but it could have been in the office extension. That's my breakdown. That's portal. Yeah. Cost. Somebody's clock's going off.
Oh, yeah.
That was that one. That was the kiosk. Maybe it was, no, it wasn't support options. Maybe it was this one. Yeah, it might have been actually, hold on, I bet you I know where it is. Here it is. It was the first document that I supplied to you guys that I said, oh, I didn't want to pull that up. So in here, they break it down. So here's the sample quote. The first full support is $99, and then each additional kiosk is $28. That's where that information was. So as we build more, it doesn't cost us another $99 a month per kiosk.
Right.
And what is the 1188 per year for?
The 1188, let me pull that back up for you. So that 1188 is the yearly support cost for kiosks. So that breaks down into the $96 for 12 months. So if we added another one on, we'd look at $28 a month for 12 months. So you'd look at another $336. So a total would be $1,524.
And the town is picking up that cost, correct?
Right, that would be built into the IT support budget.
All right, so if we subtracted the 1188 out of the full cost with all the bells and whistles, it brings it to 11,000 something? Is it 12,844 minus 1188?
No, that 1188 is included inside of that amount. So if you were to take that number out of it,
Right,
that
so,
would be 11,600.
okay,
But yeah, that's the full quote that's paid up front. We are looking at, if we go forward with this in general, possibly seeing if we can prepay some years while we have the funding that we have to utilize from the federal government before 2026.
Has anyone in the council agreed to supporting this going forward?
We haven't gotten to that far yet. We had the basic information that Janet was going to supply as part of her original ARPA recommendations.
Mhm,
She had an old conversation with them from mid 2021.
mhm.
So this is going back quite a ways. We haven't brought this back to them as of yet. I've had conversations with Councilor Mankey, who we're looking for some way to be able to present the town information, the mayoral photos, the veterans photos, the boards and commissions information, that type, directly to the public, be able to do that searching. So in a general manner, yeah, we've had a little bit of that conversation, but nothing solid as of yet. This is sort of the first informational gathering.
Okay, I just have one other question. Are we putting anybody out of work by doing this?
No, God, no. If anything, somebody's going to have more work, and it'll probably be me.
Well, I just wanted to be sure we're not taking, like, a tax collector's job away or
No, no.
anything like that.
At any rate, the only thing that would change for the tax collector is nothing, because the same service that they use now is the same service that they connect to pay their credit card payments through, and that would still come through an online ACH payment for them to remedy each month.
I gotcha. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Does anybody else have a question?
This is I don't have a question. I just have a comment.
Yeah.
Like, I think this is phenomenal. I mean, I love this idea of us as the 150th committee being part of this. Because of the pandemic, we haven't done as many things as we'd liked to do. And I just think with, our beautiful new town hall and then having this kiosk, I just think the word that comes to mind is, I think this is grand, and for us to be part of it, I think would be grander, if that is a word, so that's
think it's cool.
my thinking on it. I just think this would be great. And we know our world is all about technology.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
changing every day right now. Actually, it was funny. The project manager I spoke with said he sees a trend of buildings closing, or a closing of offices. So you only have a lobby that's open nowadays. So you may get to the point where your kiosks are needed specifically for that purpose, to be able to do those services.
Especially with these summer hours that have lasted forever,
Yep. Summer through December.
Yeah,
so roughly how much money do we have available to spend?
about $20,000.
All right, so if we went ahead with this, we
Mhm.
still have roughly 8,000 or 9,000 left over.
Right. So if we spent $1,000 on a charter oak tree, if we spent roughly $350 for glow necklaces for the Night of Lights, if we wanted to do the solar lights for the center of town, that's $2,500. We're still doing okay that we'd have some left over to give to the center cemetery to repair some graves.
Okay, sounds good to me.
Does that make sense?
To me, it does.
What about anybody else?
That sounds great.
I like the idea. I like the idea of the kiosk and the idea that we still have this money left over and to help the town out in other ways.
Okay.
Can I just ask something else? Now,
Sure.
will the kiosk have like something on it, stating that it was donated by the 150th?
Yes.
Yeah, we
Okay.
can do that with if you saw on the quote there, it had indicated, I think it's on the first
It can
page.
just be a graphic, right? Right on the.
Right.
on-
Yeah,
right?
so at the bottom of it, they say the graphic laminate. So we may be able to look at a different facade for that specifically so that it's permanently embossed with it.
Yeah, I like this because it's a lasting thing. I also like the charter oak tree because it's a historically significant tree and it would be cool to have. I think the solar lights for the center of town would be kind of cool so that, you know, it just kind of makes that nice winter when you drive through. It looks a little prettier, a little more lit up. That would be kind of nice. And the glow necklaces are a give back. And then if we have something left to put a bench in there, I don't know, we'll have to talk to Mel about the price of a bench or Bill or somebody. I think we'll be able to manage our funds.
I have a question on the
Yeah.
solar lights. Do we
Yes.
have to pay, do we have to pay somebody to put them up?
No, Parks and Rec just does it, or whoever puts them up. They just put them up. We just give it to them, say, here you go, knock yourself out, you know? And I don't know if they'll be, excuse me, solar or battery. Bill was gonna check into that for me because there's no electricity, so they gotta be one or the other, but he seemed to think that he could find a way to make it work. It's just so pretty when you drive by there and all the lights are on. If we could fill up that space a little more.
Yep.
Pretty cool. I don't know, a little beautification project, you know? Okay,
So I'm going to ask if anybody has any questions that you'd like me to ask of the vendor. If there's anything that struck out, if there's anything you think that you'd like to see as part of it.
I think we would have a better idea after we read all that long
Okay.
information that will put us to sleep. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, I think it's something that even if we can't pay every penny of it, we'll be able to pay, you know, 90% of it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
We'll be good. And the only other thing we need money for is I have to put together some sort of, I'd like to anyway, a book that we can give to the Historical Society that chronicles what we have been through these past few years. Because I think it has to go to the, you know, in the vault of historical things, right? Is that right, James?
That would be nice.
Yeah. Does that
Yeah.
go to you or the Historical Society, or who keeps track of that stuff?
I would say do two of them. That way there's one that's accessible by the public and one that's preserved.
Okay.
Sort of
Alright.
like the tapestries books that we did back in 96, those type of things.
Not familiar, but I'll figure it out. No big
You,
deal.
you probably know it. It's that maroon book that has the seal on the front of it. It's called
Oh,
the
yeah.
Tapestries.
Oh, I wasn't talking anything that fancy, but whatever. Just, you know, Shutterfly, you know, the little cute little
Yeah.
books. That's my speed. But whatever.
Yeah, I can tell you I have Esther Eddy's bicentennial
Well,
celebration books in my vault.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
that went when the doctor left. We decided we weren't doing that anymore.
Yeah.
But whatever. I don't know if he ever finished his book. That's interesting. Okay. Anybody have anything else?
Well,
else is on?
you need a motion for the wrist bands tonight, don't you? Because next month
Um,
is too late.
Necklaces.
yeah, I
Necklace.
guess.
That's-
All right. Can somebody make a motion that I can spend no more than $500? I think it's probably going to be $350, but
So moved.
Second.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so we're gonna at least take care of that. I have a, I don't know what else we have. Okay, what else is on our agenda?
Let's see. Next is treasurer's report.
Allison, you still here?
Yeah, sorry, it's bedtime.
Hi.
Hold on.
That's okay, no problem.
The balance is $20,365.92.
And I
And there's
can't,
been like no activity. I guess there's not really much to
yeah,
share.
I have a bill that I'll just pay with our debit card and get that done. That's for something for our event that didn't happen from Image Inc. But other than that, I think we'll be okay. So we have a good chunk of money. And I think that's great. We'll do some things with it that are good for the town and hopefully they'll appreciate it. And, you know, things didn't actually go our way because of the lovely COVID, but we did some good stuff. So I don't think we should hang our heads. Anybody have anything else?
Did we make any decision on what to do with all the leftover T-shirts?
James took them to, where'd you take them, James?
Human Services.
Human Services.
Very good. Okay, thanks.
Okay. Okay. And I don't think we had any new business, right?
Nothing that was listed on the agenda.
Okay, so next month, our only thing is to, we can't approve these expenditures because they're old business, correct? They have to be new business to,
Well, that's a council process. That's up to you guys.
yeah. I think we need to have one more meeting just to sew up our loose ends and then we'll be fine. And maybe it won't be in December, maybe it'll be in, January, because I know December is a busy kind of month for everybody, but we'll see how it goes. See how much we can get done of this stuff and move on from there. Oh, I guess we need we really want to have a little motion to buy the solar lights. Yes, is that okay? Can we do that?
So
Have a
moved.
motion- Make a motion to spend $2,500 on the solar lights and ornaments.
So
Second.
So moved.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, beautiful. So
Aye.
that's taken care of. Nice. Okay, so we're good. Anything else anybody wants to talk about? Okay, keep posted for next month. I don't know if we'll have a meeting. We'll see how things roll and if we have everything in order, we'll just make a final vote to close out our books and then we can put this baby to rest. All right, have a good month, guys.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Somebody
Bye,
make a motion to
everybody.
adjourn, please.
move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, thank you.
Don't forget to vote.
Never.